The following is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network. Hello, Chicago Network is on the air. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Yannishatis, and it's time to focus. And today we're focusing on the Chicago White Sox as update you on how their week is going. Let's talk about last week. They welcome in the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cubs probably the one time the Cub fans root for the Chicago White Sox is probably when they're facing teams in the National League Central. Brewers won the first two games of that series. I believe the one game they had the bases loaded and then they hit a batter to tie the game, or was it to give them the lead? And then all of a sudden that was it, and they were able to win. But the finale of that series, what a job by the Chicago White Sox! They won 8-0. They're able to take a beautiful lead and be able to at least win that finale, and the Cubs were able to win this game. So that's all that you needed right there. So, and the White Sox did a good job. Then the Houston Astros come to town. They debut those City Connect jerseys, and we're going to get into that in just a second. First two games they split in that one with the Astros. So let's preview now the week for the Chicago White Sox. They're in the middle of a series right now with one of the teams that are so fun to watch, and that is the Kansas City Royals, as Bobby Witt Jr., a 4-game series in Kansas City, Monday to Thursday. That'll be at Kauffman Stadium. And of course, Bobby Witt Jr., I'm not sure as of this taping if it's still going on, but the hit streak for Bobby Witt Jr. was over 20 games, and I think that's huge. Obviously, a far way away from Joe DiMaggio's hit streak, but I still think it's a fun thing in baseball when you see it. When you start to see it over 20 games, I think that's very exciting. And when you have 4 games against the Chicago White Sox pitching, could be interesting. And then of course they're in the middle, finishing up that series today, and the White Sox will return home. So only a quick road trip. They'll return home to face the Miami Marlins this weekend, and odds are being that they are going to be wearing those City Connect jerseys again. Marlins are a very young team, so it's going to be two very young teams going at it against each other this weekend on the South side. And my take on those City Connect jerseys, of course, for you folks that don't really, well, what is the red and the black in the Chicago? Why are they imitating the Chicago Bulls? But odds are most of you people know that if you're watching this, you're White Sox fans and know what's going on in Chicago sports. But the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf of the Chicago White Sox, also owns the Chicago Bulls. So they're clearly able to do that. So I've actually really liked them. I think they look really good on TV. I'd like to maybe see them in person this year, but I think I've enjoyed it very much to see those so far. I've only got a sample size of it, but I still think that's something they won their first game in them, so that's a start. But I think overall I like it. I mean, nothing's going to beat the original South Side looking City Connect. I think that was the best City Connect jersey out of all of them in Major League Baseball. Now they're doing the second batch. I still think it's one of the best, up there with the Washington Nationals first one, which was more about the flowers that they have there in DC. So overall, I'm happy with it. I like it. And I mean, the White Sox have done they haven't done a good job on the field, but I think overall what they've been able to do with their City Connect jerseys and being able to, I guess that's the one way they're making money is that. So I think they've done a good job with that, and also promoting the shakes as well, the campfire shake last year. And I want to get there and try that birthday cake. So obviously what I'm saying is I need to go to a Friday night game on the South Side. We'll see if that'll make it happen sometime this year. Got to get a little warmer, as I'm not a fan of, again, we're still in early May, and the weather's still not cooperating here in the Midwest. So hopefully it'll start cooperating a little more. So the White Sox do lose the series to the Brewers, face the Astros, then 4 in Kansas City this week. And we'll see if they can stop Bobby Witt Jr. And they'll welcome in the Miami Marlins this weekend to the South Side. Comment below, what are your thoughts on the City Connect jerseys? Do you like them? You like the other ones better? What don't you like about them? Comment below. Like the video if you like what you see, you hear. And then also subscribe to the Hello Chicago Network YouTube channel every Monday through Friday, 3:12 Central, folks. We are focusing on Chicago sports. Tomorrow we'll close up the week focusing on the Chicago Cubs, who's been the positive note of Chicago sports here to try to get us through the summer. And so far, they've done that through the first month. We'll talk about them coming up tomorrow on the show. We talked about on Monday, the sights and sounds from Milwaukee. I was there Friday and Sunday. And now we'll talk a little bit more as they only had a quick homestand. They're back on the road starting tomorrow. I'm Ryan Yannishatis from the Hello Chicago Network, where the focus of Chicago sports.